I know you've been seeing around social media because I've been seeing around social media those posts like homeschool your kids, homeschool your kids. If you're not homeschooling your kids, you're just a bad parent. Blah blah blah. And I know you've been seeing it because I've been seeing it. And the thing about these posts are they never really tell people, how to start. I mean, I know everyone should do their due diligence in, doing the research and figuring out how to start, but there's never really any tips under these posts of how to start homeschooling. How do you take that step of homeschooling? And I know under a lot of these posts, I always see the same things like, well, I want to homeschool, but I don't have the income to homeschool. How can I stay home with my kids and homeschool and still make money? I still have to go to work. So I know that's just like a big thing surrounding homeschool, and I am here to break those down. So if you're new here, my name is Kendall. I am a single mom of two. I homeschool both of my children, and I talk about all things homeschool, location freedom, and finances for single moms and moms in general on this channel. So let's dive into my homeschool story, why I actually started homeschooling, how I got into homeschooling, because I was not always here. I was just like everyone else, sending my daughter to school, waking up, putting her on the bus, having my morning to myself, and just, doing the regular routine of life. If I would look back on myself today, if I looked at myself from, let's say, maybe even 5 years ago, 7 years ago, even 10 years ago, I think I would be so shocked at who I have become because I don't know, that's growth. Like, I'm not her no more. I'm not her no more. And then now I'm going through this another transition of turning into someone else from who I was even 5 years ago. Like, I'm definitely not who I was in my 20s. And now 5 years ago, I'm not the girl who I was at 30. So it's just crazy, like the transition and the growth that you go through as you get older. But anyway, starting back from my homeschool journey and how I got started, it started with a move. So I always tell you guys how I moved out of New Jersey, moved to North Carolina. It was just me and my daughter. And when we got here, we were staying in one city. Um, I lived in three cities while I was in North Carolina. They all are relatively close, all outside of the Raleigh area. And there's a guy like walking his dog. I'm just looking at him. So once I bought my house, my daughter was in seventh grade. She was in seventh grade when I bought my house. And where we lived at prior to moving, she, started making friends. She's actually still friends with one of the girls from back where we lived. And she was making friends. But where I moved to, I moved about 40 minutes away, 35, 40 minutes away. And when we got here, I did not like the school district. Like, I didn't like the ratings of the school. I didn't like it. It just didn't seem like a good school district, especially coming where we were coming from. And I'm just like, I'm not liking this. So they actually had built a private school like right near my house, and I'm like, you know what, we're going to try the private school thing. Um, so she interviewed, she got into the private school, everything was fine, but every day she would come home with a different story of how the kids were behaving, how like she just hated it. And the class sizes were small, so I think there was like about 10 or 11 kids in her class. She was, of course, the only black girl in her class, black student in her class. And she said, like, the kids, the stuff they would say, the entitlement, the way kids were behaving. And I'm just like, okay, okay. And believe it or not, it was not my decision on homeschool. I was going to take her out of that school and switch her to public school. I'm like, if she's not happy at this private school, then maybe we'll just try it and just try this other school out. But she actually came to me and said, why don't we try homeschool? And I'm looking at her like, homeschool? You just trying to stay home from school. What you mean homeschool? But me, the type of mom I am, I would always let her, if she came to me and said, hey, I need a mental health day. Cool, stay home. Mom, I'm not feeling well. Cool, stay home. My mom always used to be like, let the nurse send you home. you're going to school at the nursing home. But me, I'm just like, if there's a reason that my daughter needs to stay out or she needs to take the day to herself, like, go take it. Go take it. Like, you know what I mean? That building will be there. So she was always like, not taking those days often, but I say that to say, like, I would let her, stay out and do those things. So when she mentioned homeschool, I'm just like, I don't I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Homeschool? Like what is that? So after she said that though, I started just like, thinking about it. She put it in my head to think about it. I started actually thinking about what was actually going on through the school year, and a lot had changed. I had just had a baby. So he wasn't even one yet. He was, a newborn. So a lot has changed from before we moved. She was catching a bus, she was getting up, doing her thing. I was home with the baby. Cool. But then when we moved, now the dynamic has changed where I had to get up and actually take her to school. Even though the school was 5 minutes from our house, me being a single mom with a newborn, well, I can't say he was a newborn, 6 months, 7 months old, still going through the transition of, waking up in the middle of the night, breastfeeding, uh, no sleep, zombie mode. So there was a lot of mornings that I was just rolling out of bed trying to get her to school, and she would be late. Even though we lived 5 minutes from the school, she would be late. And they mark them latenesses. They is that a word? Latenesses. They mark her latenesses. Yeah, that is a word. As absences after a certain amount. I think it was like after 3, it turns into an absence. So she started getting absent marks, even though she was in school, but she was late. So I'm like, this is not working. This is not working. So then a part of me is like, I'm just going to switch her back to the public school, and when she goes to the public school, she can catch the bus. I could be here with the baby and deal with that. But a part of me was still like torn. Like, I don't want her to go to that public school. It just wasn't good. Like, it just wasn't a good school. So I started thinking more and more and more about her homeschool that that she brought to my attention. And from there, I just started doing a lot of research. I started joining homeschool groups. I started reading books. I didn't watch any documentaries. Didn't do that. But I started reading books. I started just really diving into this homeschool group thing. I started joining Facebook groups. And I'm like, wait a minute. I can do this. And then you start seeing what people are saying about the schools. Like, oh, there's a lot of bullying going on. Kids are being exposed to stuff that they shouldn't be exposed to. And I'm just like, I could do this. And then once you also learn, okay, the schools are just teaching standardized tests, and they're just being tested on what the teachers are telling. Like, it's a lot of, just memorize this, memorize that. Okay, we're going to take the standardized test at the end of the year. What are the kids really learning? What are they learning? And then it's the whole thing of, I was reading one book, and it was like, they give the kids homework so that the kids come home and they can't think about nothing outside of what they learned in school. Like, the creativity is being taken from the kids. They can't go home and do other things that interest them. They have to go back home and go on to memorize more stuff that they already just went over in school. And it started to make sense to me. I'm just like, wait a minute, that makes sense. If they're learning XYZ at school, then they go home to memorize XYZ again, and they're not even tapping into their interest, and then they're just learning what's on a standardized test. What are they really learning? And then I think back to myself, I'm like, a lot of the stuff I learned in school, I don't even think about anymore outside of when I learned it. So it just piques my interest a lot. It piqued my interest a lot. And me, I'm the type of person that I do like to think outside of the box. Like, I do things that are considered maybe outside of the norm sometimes. And so it's no surprise, I think, that I tapped into this and I started doing this. So I remember she told, my daughter always has a tendency of telling the people before I even okay it with her. Like, when we were about to move to North Carolina, she went and told these people, the teachers, that, oh yeah, we moving. I'm like, why did you tell these people this? Like, keep it here. So she had told them that I was putting her in public school. So one of her teachers came out to talk to me, like in a pickup line, and she's like, "Don't, that's not a good school. I used to teach over there. Leave her here. She's doing so good here." And I'm just like, well, there's some concerning things here. Like, she's telling me kids are in here saying the N word, and she's like, she tells and nothing's being done. And so I don't have time for that type of stuff. And so I'm just like, she convinced me to let her just finish out the school year, because I believe it was like maybe March or April, so she would only had like a couple more months to go. It wouldn't have made sense to just switch her right there anyway. So I'm like, all right, I think this is what we're gonna do. You gonna finish out the school year, and then that's it. Then I'm just gonna start homeschool. I'm going to start homeschool, and that's what I did. Like, I took her out. I mean, well, seventh grade summer, when she got back home, eighth grade, she didn't go to school. She didn't go back to school. And now she's in 11th grade, 10th, 11th grade. We don't really do grades. But she's doing so well. Like, she's doing so well, and I'm just like so proud, because like I'm doing this, and it's going well. And a lot of the homeschool groups I'm in, I want to talk to my brown mamas right now. Like, homeschool those kids. These other people, they make a way. Like, a lot of them are in the homeschool groups asking, like, how can I homeschool, without working? How can I make this happen? And the alternative solutions that these other people come up with, a lot of them ain't working. A lot of them are not working. And they are out here. Some of them, like, are digital, they sell digital products. Some people are like digital assistants. Like, there's so many. I think I'm gonna put up a list, because there's so many ways that you can make money without being physically at a job, that these people are making it happen. They're like, oh no, we're going to homeschool any means necessary. I don't want my kids going to the public school. I don't want them in private school. I don't like what they're teaching over there. I don't like leaving my kids with these people and they're not learning this, and this. I'm going to leave my kids with me, and they are finding alternative ways to make money while not. One thing, they always be hip to something, okay? They always be knowing something that we be late and delayed on. We be late and delayed on. And I know that this is true, because even the homeschool groups, like I joined a couple homeschool groups around here for my toddler, because, well, I guess he's not a toddler anymore. He's 4. But I joined a couple homeschool groups for him to meet other kids and play, because with him, we're starting completely from scratch. You know what I mean? My daughter, she has friends. Like I said, she's still best friends with the girl that she went to school with. Their best friends. They still hang out. They go to the mall on the weekends. They have sleepovers. They, and it's like, even though she's not in public school, she's still getting those experiences, because her friend will call her like, hey, it's a football game this weekend. And I have no qualms about, oh, go have fun. She's been to parties. She actually, like, my daughter's involved in so much. Like, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I actually have her signed up. She's in 2 community service groups, and they do community service projects, like, around the area. Like, they set up parties for, like, the elderly. They set up parties for the elderly. They set up, like, parties for, like, for the disabled people. Like, they do a lot around that I'm like happy. Like, just this Saturday, I had to get up and drop her off because they were doing some school cleanup, just doing stuff. So she's with that group, and then she's also with another group. She actually had to go and lobby for bills that were being passed in North Carolina. I thought that was really cool. And she was up there, and she's like, I really think I could be a lawyer. I could do this. So it's actually giving her more insight. Like, she's in a lot of things that I don't think that she would be doing if she was just in public school. So when they say, like, your kids aren't socialized when they're homeschooled, I think they have more socialization, because just for the simple fact that they're always doing something. Like, she's actually in another teen group for my area, and they meet, they have parties, they actually have a homeschool prom coming up, they do graduation, they have everything going on. So it's like, she's always doing something, she's always meeting people, she's meeting people with her best friend, meeting people in these groups. So it's like, the socialization I'm not worried about. And I always question that anyway, because it's like, when you go to school, they're telling you don't socialize. You can socialize at lunch, we're not talking in the classroom. So I don't know, after reading books, and it's like, it's not realistic to just be around your age group all day. be around people of other ages. Like my son, his homeschool group that he's in was actually, I think they go up to 6 years old, 6 or 7. So it's like 4 to 7. He's with a group of kids that are, a lot of ages. And the younger kids learn from the older kids. That's just like when you're in daycare, you'll have maybe 1 to 3 in a room, and the babies learn from the older kids. So it's that socialization bit is not, that will be the least of your worries. I got off on a tangent. I forget what my original point even was. Like, what were we just talking about? But, I think I was saying, like, I'm starting from scratch with my son. So him with his socialization is different because they say that you have all of your socialization skills by 5 years old. You have all your socialization skills. So how you going to interact with people, how you're going to be, that happens by 5. So a lot of people were questioning, like my mom was questioning, well, what about her socialization? It's like, my daughter's going to high school. She already has her socialization. You know what I mean? If she can't socialize with people and speak to people and make friends at this point, then that's an issue. But she's past that. It's not like she's a baby. So the valid question will be, well, what about my son's socialization, because he's so much younger? So with him, after going through this whole thing with my daughter, I'm like, I'm not sending him to school. I'm not sending him to school. And this year actually solidified it for me, because we've been doing pre-K work this year, and he turned 4 in September. Yeah, he turned 4 in September. So we've been doing pre-K work, and I was looking at the guidelines to sign him up for school just to see what the age was, because someone had told me that they changed the age. And I'm like, why would they change the age? So I'm looking at the age, and they said that he would not be eligible until next year for pre-K. And I'm just like, that will put him behind, because next year I plan on we should be almost in first grade work by the time next year comes. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, that just solidified it for me. He's smart. I don't need to wait to put him in pre-K. And pre-K is what? What are y'all doing in pre-K? Colors, shapes, the months of the year. Come on, like, we know those things. Why am I holding my son back to put him in that environment? And then when I put him there, he's going to be bored because he already knows this stuff. And then y'all are going to call me and say, oh, he's acting up. He needs an IEP. He has ADHD. Like, that's what happens next. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Okay? I'm not having it. So that just solidified it for me. Homeschool is the way I'm going to go. And I'm just like, I'm excited about it. And it's like, again, as I dive deeper into it, it's like, oh, they have homeschool hubs around the world. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Mexico. I want to go to Thailand and be on these homeschool hubs and come in and, have him learning with different people and learning different things and learning how to surf and looking at the coral reefs in the Bahamas. Like, it's just so many things. Homeschool is not a one size fit all. It's just so many ways that you could deep dive into homeschool. Yes. One thing I can definitely say that has been a challenge, though, is the scheduling, getting our schedule together, because I have been pretty lenient. The first year I can say we did unschool. Like, we completely no books as far as like a curriculum. We didn't, I just took the first year to see like where my daughter was, how she learned, and, what she was into, her interests and stuff like that. So I didn't deep dive into curriculums or anything like that. But midway through the year, she started asking me for one. She's like, I don't feel like I'm doing school. She started questioning me, asking me if I knew what I was doing, because, she's used to being in a classroom. She's used to sitting down and doing work. And I'm like, well, the books that I read is like, give them space to just be. So, but she kept pressing me. So I actually signed her up for like one of the online programs. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like it because I signed up for it. I'm paying $70 a month. And then she's doing the work, 8th grade work. But then she tells me, oh, well, this math, like halfway through the year, she says, oh, well, this math already did. We did this in 7th grade. And I'm like, so why wouldn't you tell me that I'm steady paying for this and you already know this? You know what I mean? And this is what I mean about homeschool, because your kid can be in 8th grade, but your kid is doing 10th grade math because you have the time to actually, go through it and you can speed through it. You don't need a whole year to learn 8th grade math. You know what I mean? You don't need a whole year to learn 9th grade math. You do it, then we move on. So this girl has taken Algebra 1 almost 3 times because she didn't want to speak up and say, I did it already. So the following year, ninth grade, I'm like, okay, so ninth grade math will be Algebra 1. She goes halfway through the book and says, yeah, I did all this too. I'm like, girl, you need to speak up. So we wasted a year of math when we could have been done math. You know what I mean? And she could have been well into Algebra 2. She's on Algebra 2 now. So it has been a lot of trial and error trying to, figure out what curriculums we use and how we doing it. My son, we did a lot of learn through play the first years. Like we played, we did a lot of playing and outside play, exploration, stuff like that, and letter sounds. And I don't know what he's doing behind me, but he seems to be being sneaky. But it's like a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of trial and error. But once you figure it out and you get your footing, it's smooth. It's smooth. Because now I'm on year 3 and I feel like I have a great grasp on it. And it's just going through the trial and error with her has made me a better teacher for him. Because now I know how we're going to approach this thing. I know what we're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a lot of trial and error when it comes to homeschooling, but I think in the end it's worth it. I think in the end it's worth it. I feel good about it. People do still question my choices. That's another thing that's a big thing in the homeschool groups is like, what do you say when people ask you about homeschooling, respecting your choice? And it's like, these people don't pay your bills. They don't do nothing for you. They don't take care of your kids. So you do what you want to do with your kids. You know what I mean? So I've stopped explaining. My mom still asks me when I'm going to send the kids to school. And it's like, we're in year 3. Like, we're not going to school. They're not going to school. I've already had a taste of being able to get up and leave when I want. Oh, we taking a trip in the middle of the winter if we want. We taking a trip, not during the regular schedule, spring break, summer break. We're just going right now. And, I want to go to Jersey and go see my family. We're going for a month. So it's like, just having that little bit of freedom is like, okay, no. I'm not okay with someone telling me that my kids got to be in this building for 8 hours. I can't go beyond 5 miles past my house because I have to be back home for them to get out of school. No. So it's like, you can homeschool. You can make an income off, you don't have to be tied to somewhere to make an income. It is possible to make money outside of a job. You can homeschool your kids. You can make a way. As a single mom, as a working mom, you can do it. I actually put together a little guide for like working moms to help you to start your single mom. Not your single mom, to start your homeschool journey. I'll put that in the description below. But you can actually, it's a free guide, by the way. You can start. I always tell people, like, if you want to start something, just do it. Taking time to just do it. If you keep saying that you want to do something, but you never take the steps to do it, you're never going to do it. So when it came to me homeschooling, I knew that I had to just start. And now we're just home, right? Do you like homeschooling?
Yes.
What do you like the best about homeschooling?
I just want to do like work at home, homeschool.
You like to do schoolwork at home?
Yes.
What else?
I like to use my tablet at no day.
Okay, so that's the thing. We are not doing screens. He wants to use his tablet. That's another work in progress. That's another thing we are working on. Because I am a working mom. Like, I still do have to create income. So I am on the computer. Mommy. I am doing things online. Mommy. Yes.
You going to the car so you can give me my tablet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay, that's fine.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
While I'm working, so there has been days that I just gave him the tablet, like, here, go play a game while mommy finishes this. So that's another thing I'm working on. Can I finish? I'm almost done.
I just want to sit with you for a little bit.
Okay. So that's what I'm working on. Like, I was saying, I'm going to redo my schoolroom this year. Since he's doing kindergarten, I want to update, like, get a bigger desk, put more stuff on the wall. Yes. So I'm going to be redoing my schoolroom this year, get him a bigger desk, get some more manipulatives and things, because I really want to be on a tighter schedule when I'm doing work. I want him to be able to have like bins and baskets to play out of. And like, this is what you're doing for the hour. I want to get a timer, so he knows, okay, this is when mommy will be done. You're doing this, then we'll move on to what we're doing for the day. So I'm going to get that figured out and sorted out, because that was the biggest challenge for me, was getting our schedule together, because I am a person that still goes to the gym. I do my work online. I'm what else am I doing? Editing. Like, it's all these things that I do tie into one. So it's like I have to find, I got to find places for them to live in so that I can do everything at once. It's just me here. I'm a single mom. I'm homeschooling, taking care of my kids, working out, still having time for myself. So that's what I'm gonna leave you with. But I just want you to know that it is possible. You can homeschool. You can live a life of location freedom. You can take care of yourself. You can take care of your children, and you could just be like you could just be. I want to leave you with that. It is okay to drop what you think is normal. Drop the norm and step outside the box and just do it. It is very, very, very possible. It is possible. So every Tuesday, I'm going to be coming to you guys with homeschool tips, how to get started, I'm going to have like budgeting series where I'm going to talk to you guys about budgeting, creating income online, creating income without being tied to some physical location, working for someone. It's so many ways, especially in 2026 with all of this stuff out here. It's a digital world. There's so many ways that you can make income and design this life for yourself that you don't have to escape from. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'll leave all my free resources in the description box. Thank you for coming to my little talk today. I hope to see you guys tomorrow.